If you're anything like me, you've probably been into gaming for a really long time. But as I'm getting older, one of the things that has been happening to me quite often is that it's been really hard for me to be consistent about beating games. And that's because a lot of things, work and life just kind of gets in the way and you just don't really have time for it. And so you kind of just resort to playing the games you've always played. And I'm talking about like games like League of Legends or Fortnite, games where you don't really progress or I don't know, do anything. At least that's how I see it. But recently, I decided to kind of step away from that. I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna play as much League of Legends. I'm not gonna really play these multiplayer games where I don't really accomplish anything. I mean, yeah, it's fun to play with your friends every now and then and get a victory, but I think games can be more than that. And I kind of wanted to feel kind of like I did when I was a kid, where I would come home and, play the Zelda game that I had, or play the Mario Kart game that I had, or the Need for Speed game that I had. All these single player games where it was just me and my controller and a quiet time in front of the TV. So, over the last couple months, I've decided to do that. I decided to limit myself to playing League and these other games that I just kind of resort to by default. It was hard, I'm not going to lie. There was days where I would only have like 30 minutes to really play something, and so I would open up Arena on League of Legends and just play. And it wasn't fun. I wasn't having fun. I mean, yeah, it would kill 30 minutes of my time, but I wanted to finish a lot of the games that just been sitting in my shelf. I have a Nintendo Switch 2, I have a tons of Nintendo Switch 1 games, and I can tell you about 60 to 70% of the games I've never even started. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to start. I'm going to play some of these games that I haven't beat that just been sitting around. In the hype of the Nintendo Switch 2, I ended up buying Donkey Kong Bonanza. And I said, you know what, I'm going to beat this game. I'm going to really try to do that. And I did. I sat down, and every time I had a little bit of time, I decided to play it. I decided to really just sit down and play only that game. And it was difficult because one of the things that you don't get with single player experience games is that common time with your friends, right? And so, what I did to kind of, I don't know, mix both worlds is I would still join Discord with my friends, but the only real difference here is instead of joining them in their games, I would just kind of play my games as we're in the Discord and share my screen. And this actually really worked for me. I was able to play a lot of different games, not only Donkey Kong Bonanza, but I also played Expedition 33, and recently I've started progressing to Hollow Knight because I want to be prepared to play Silk Song. But I think the change here of me really transitioning into beating games that had just been sitting in my catalog really made me appreciate the quality of single player games and what they really bring to the table. I think for too much time, I was caught up in playing the latest multiplayer games like Marvel Rivals or Fortnite or even PUBG when that came out. And I was having fun, but I don't think it was beneficial for me and how I remember gaming. It kind of killed my love for gaming. But now I'm going to try to continue playing single player games because there's nothing that can really replace that feeling of beating a game for the very first time. And for once in a long time, I'm actually making a dent into my backlog. I don't know when I'm going to ever get to finish the Steam backlog that I have with over 200 games. But you know what? Maybe for a start, this is okay. And I think one of the hardest things that's going to be a challenge for me is really not buying any more games because it's so easy to get caught up in the latest releases, but yet I haven't defeated or beaten any of the games that I bought a long time ago. So, with that being said, I just wanted to let you guys know if you're kind of feeling like me and you've just been wasting your time on these massive multiplayer games, take a break from them. Still join your friends on Discord, maybe you play in the occasional game here and there, but go and tackle some of your backlog games. Try to play those for a bit, because I know that I've been enjoying them, and maybe that's what you need too. Taking a break from these multiplayer games really has made me appreciate the time that I have and enjoy my gaming experience once again. Anyway, I'll see you all next time.